Hey there, my name is David Roach. I am an Awana missionary serving in North Carolina. I serve the central part of the state. So thanks for checking out this video on our Awana Connect. I know, like many other missionaries across the country, I was kind of on a road show recently, just doing Awana Connect events throughout the area. But I also know that the evening gathering isn't always a good option for folks. So I wanted to put together kind of a summarized video format of what we've been covering in these. So wherever you're at, I'm sure there's some good applicable ministry content for you here. So thanks for checking out our Awana Connect here. So this is a little bit of a roadmap. This is what I do for the in-person gatherings. So we'll have it a little different. Obviously, we won't have as much of the intro and activity. But yeah, we'll look at some small group time tips, Awana news and events, and then a real good praise about ministry in Africa. So that's where we'll be going. The first thing are some free things, right? We always love some free stuff. Podcasts. So Awana puts together two different podcasts. There's the Child Discipleship podcast, which I think we're on season 4 of, and new episodes come out every Thursday. So look for that wherever you get your podcasts. Good view into all of the culture, the Barna research, the present day and age that impacts how we disciple kids. It's obviously different today than it was 50 years ago, 20 years ago, or even 5 years ago. So another podcast that you can check out is the Awana Clubs podcast. And so this has content in there more specifically for you and your Awana ministry. So you might have ideas for connecting with parents or awards and how to celebrate awards night. So very practical tips like that are going to be on this Awana Clubs podcast. So 2 great follows and get some child discipleship encouragement right into your podcast stream there. So another place for some free resources, just about a year ago, we started putting information up here on childdiscipleship.com. And the information here is all free to download. And so you can check it out. There's also a ministry assessment tool that you can create your own questions, create your own ministry assessment that you can pass along to your parents, your ministry leaders. So tons of great information on here. So you see a couple of the things that's provided there, as well as an anxiety guide is another great resource. So how to help kids, young people in our ministries who are dealing with anxiety. So check out those tools and resources there at childdiscipleship.com. And then AwanaPlus.com, AwanaPlus.com. This has been the 4th year that we've been putting information out here. It was something that sort of stemmed from the COVID experience that we all had, and just trying to get information out here on this website to get out into the homes for parents and loving, caring adults to use for discipleship at home. So we put Awana coloring pages, activity sheets, all the verses to songs. So for the Cubbies and Sparks are all available on here. Really, just about everything produced by Awana has something up here on AwanaPlus.com. We're putting up the 4th year of TNT. So we're putting up the Discovery of Grace book this year. And the other 3 years of TNT are already up there. You already see all of Trek, Cubbies, Sparks, Puggles, all of that's already been up here. So really after this year, we'll have all of that information up on AwanaPlus.com. So check out all of those great resources there. And then whether you're local to the Carolinas or not, I encourage you to check out the AwanaCarolinas.org website, especially the resources tab up there at the top. Lots of great stuff that we put in there, trying to be a hub of information that you can easily access. If it's general information like the club songs or videos, or specifically, your resources for Sparks or Cubbies or equipping tools that are available. So we put all of that under that resources tab. So check it out. I know the Secretary in a Box feature is one of the things that a lot of people around the country utilize as a Google Doc that you can download and customize and make it fit the needs of your church. So all the files and record cards and anything that you could possibly imagine are all in that Secretary in a Box file. So check out the Awana Carolina site. And then one event that I wanted to let everyone know about, for those of us on the East Coast, it's exciting that Summit, the annual high school gathering, is going to be on the East Coast this year. It's going to be in Lynchburg, Virginia, March 14th through the 16th. And I participated in Summit as a high schooler, so I'm a little biased just as to the significance of this event each year. But lots of different ways young people can participate. If it's through the Bible quiz, if it's the college fair, volleyball tournaments, so many really, really awesome ways to participate. Even competitions for like public speaking and fine arts. There's lots of different categories, and so I encourage you to check it out. Even if you aren't actively using the journey material, if you've got youth that want to participate in this gathering, they're welcome to do that. So check out that QR code for more information on Summit this year. So really the meat and potatoes of kind of our Connect season this year has been talking about small group in the Rapids. So we all love the discipleship that can happen in small group time, but at the same time, it's an intimidating thing. It's something that can often feel chaotic and rushed. And so how do we really navigate the waters of small group time when we have a lot of different things that are goals and a lot of different kids and needs to meet? So this has been one of our topics, and so I'll cover it in a bit of a summary form here for this video, but you can let me know if you're interested in the full video for this, because this is a really great video that was actually produced by another one of our Awana missionaries, Hunter Williams, did this last year for our virtual Awana ministry conference. So he did a really great job with it. And so I'm just summarizing some of what he's put into that. But so the difference in small group time compared to large group time is when you're in large group and you're giving the lesson, you're really acting as a tour guide. So that's where you're delivering content. You're sharing that Bible lesson that you've prepared that night. And so flipping to the other side, really in small group, we really want to think of ourselves not as tour guides, but as rafting guides. If you've been on a whitewater rafting adventure before, you know, the rafting guide is active, right? The rafting guide is paddling right along with you. They're not just delivering content, but they're facilitating engagement. They want you to engage with the water. They want you to be an active participant along the tour there, not just on a tour guide where they're delivering content and it's mostly just a back and forth exchange there without a whole lot of participation. So I like that imagery just as it compares our large group time to our small group, because we don't want our small group just to be another lesson time that we're asking these kids to sit through. This is something where we're getting our hands dirty, we're getting in there with them, and we're helping them to really grapple with the content for that evening. So that's a little bit of the distinction. And so the question that we ask here is, what if we have been navigating the waters of small group as the wrong guide? What if we've been acting as tour guides in small group time, trying to deliver content instead of facilitating engagement like a rafting guide? So let's look at a few different maneuvers, a few different techniques, ways that we can kind of flip that mindset to really be rafting guides going alongside the young people in our small groups. So the first maneuver that we talk about is focusing on engagement rather than compliance. Focusing on engagement rather than compliance. So sometimes we can have a lot of kids in our ministry that are really great memorizers. They're really, they're really smart. They'll do exactly what we ask them to do. But it's sometimes hard to tell how much that child is really gleaning from the Word of God. I think we can easily think that these really smart, good memorizers are getting all of this great information, and maybe they are, but in some cases, maybe they're not. Maybe they're just being very compliant. And so how can we help kids to actively engage in the materials, in our small group time, in the handbooks that they're working on? So one tip there is asking open-ended questions. Instead of asking yes or no questions, or, let's be honest, how many questions do we ask that the answer is Jesus, right? Just getting them to think a little bit deeper by asking, a harder question. Who is Jesus? Why did Jesus have to die? What is sin? Asking those types of questions really help us to understand what the kid knows. What things are they getting, and what things can we help clear up for them? Another way we can actively help these kids to engage is by making the application personal. So instead of just asking a general question of, how can I show sacrificial love this week? When we get to know the kids and their weekly routines, their interests, it makes the application more personal. If we were to say, hey, Noah, when you get to soccer practice this afternoon, how can you show sacrificial love to your teammates and your coach? Or Sophia, how can you show sacrificial love to your parents when you get home from school tomorrow? Asking questions like that can really make it easier for them to think about their situation and how that question really applies, as opposed to something really general that they have a hard time putting themselves into. So, and then tying content to spiritual disciplines. So even just letting them know that these are things that we're actively engaged in as well. We are asking pastor when there's a really difficult question that comes up, or something that is a question from the kids, or something in the handbook. When kids see that we're wrestling with it and that we're going through these same spiritual disciplines that they are, it really encourages them to engage as well. So we can go along in the books with them. So the next point, the next maneuver for the small group time in the Rapids is demonstrate the outcome you desire to see. Demonstrate the outcome you desire to see. So praying with the group, praying for your group. It's always good to get a chance to pray right there in the small group time. Really, you don't get to necessarily know all the prayer requests for everyone in all of your Awana club, but that small group that you have, that's your close-knit group. That's your Awana family. So praying with them and for them is a really great thing to do. Share your own questions, your own application. Let these kids know that these are things that we're going through as well, that we are alongside this journey. There's no such thing as being an adult of God. We are all children of God. We are all learning. And so we can really wrestle with the same type topics that these kids are going through. And then memorizing, reciting the verses along with your group. I know that's a challenging one for a lot of us. It's something that we have to be intentional about making time in our schedule to do. But I want to encourage you to do that. When we demonstrate that, it really, the kids love listening to adults say their verses, and it really makes that something that they see as valuable when they see us doing it. And if you do happen to have like the younger group, I know some of these things maybe a little bit look a little differently for like a Cubbies group, but I like to try and recite the Cubbies verse and just get a word wrong on purpose and see if the Cubbies notice. They really love to point out those things that when we kind of intentionally flub up the verse. So that's one example of ways that we can do this, even with the younger kids in your ministry. So demonstrate the outcomes that you desire to see. And then our third and final point that we've been covering in this small group in the Rapids is increase participation by taking risks. And some of the ideas in this point, they're a little scary. That involves us kind of releasing the ministry a little bit. I mean, how many times we get into small group and we kind of have a plan, right? We know where we want to go, and it's good to be prepared. I'm not saying it's not, but we can take a little risk when we invite the kids or the teenagers to participate and lead even portions of the small group time. Maybe they facilitate the discussion that happens. Maybe they have suggestions. Maybe they have different ideas for how to make that time more beneficial to the group. I mean, really the goal of small group is for the kids, right? It's for their growth. And so sometimes, maybe there's a blind spot in our ministry that we don't even see. And so sometimes the kids can be very helpful in sharing with us what they would find most useful. And then one of the best points from this section of from this point is to encourage the kids to share the gospel with another child. So if you have someone in your ministry that's ready to trust in Christ or has some questions about that, instead of the adults just going into the back room and sharing the gospel with this child, invite the kids in the group to share the gospel. yeah, you're going to be there. You're going to be providing support in that situation. You're not just going to leave them off by themselves. But man, what a great opportunity for that young person to get some practice and maybe, get some clarity themselves on the gospel, something that we hear about all the time, but maybe can gloss over certain points of it. So I really love that point that Hunter makes in this, is that we can invite participation in answering the questions of the other kids and sharing the gospel with other kids. I mean, those are just some really great ways that we can understand what these kids know, the ones that have been in our ministries, and then thinking of it from the friend, like how cool it is to have their friend explaining these biblical truths to them and not just hearing it from an adult. So those are some really great maneuvers there. So that was a summary of what we've been talking about for small group in the Rapids. So focus on engagement rather than compliance, demonstrate the outcomes that you would like to see, and then take some risks, increase participation by taking risks. So those were our 3 main points in there. So I hope something in there was encouraging to you. Just think of it as being that rafting guide, someone who's in the material, in the books, in the lesson, right alongside these kids, and not just on the outside trying to deliver content. So love that image. I'm going to start talking about a few events. This one is local to us in the Carolinas, coming up in September. But wherever you're watching this video from, these Awana conferences happen across the country. So encourage you to check out where the local event would be for you. And so our conference is September 16th at First Baptist Church in Matthews. The theme this year for AMC 2023 is Become. So we did Belong a couple years ago, Believe, and Become, these 3 B's of discipleship that we've really been emphasizing in ministry. So a little bit about our event, September 16th. Here are a few of the speakers that we have coming. I've got Sean Sweet is our keynote speaker. He does ministry, especially with the preteen age group. So he's with 4, 5, 6 ministries that deals especially with ministry to 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. So he'll be doing some breakouts for us throughout the day and doing our keynote message. And then we've also got Brittany Nelson coming. Brittany is a content developer at deeperkidmin.org. So that is a great library of resources there that you may already be familiar with. She is going to be visiting us from Georgia, coming up to North Carolina. And then we're happy to have the Hamptons, Banique and Debbie. They are with the Legacy Coalition, which is a group of an organization that is especially focused on grandparenting ministry, the idea of spiritual grandparents and the role they can have in the lives of their grandchildren. And then I'm happy to also have Shauna Merlin, part of our Awana family, here with us on September 16th. So Shauna's going to be doing some breakouts, one on Bible engagement, doing an engaging Bible lesson. She'll do another one on conquering the chaos that surrounds ministry. And she'll also be doing one on building a household of faith. What's it look like to be Christian parents and raising up Christian kids and just living out this day-to-day life as followers of Jesus. So we'll have lots of other speakers. You can look on our Awana Carolinas page to see a full listing of all of our speakers and breakouts. But we're really excited about AMC 2023 here in the Carolinas. So there's the exact times. We're going to meet from 8:55 promptly at 8:55 to 4:30. You have the QR code there to register, and you can still save $5 if you sign up through September the 9th. So got a couple more weeks to get $5 off discounted pricing. So hope you will participate in that if you're here locally, or hope you can get in touch with your local missionary to find out the nearest conference near you. Always a highlight training event, really like a ministry retreat day. What I love about conference is it's a day not only to get more tools, you're going to get more ideas and practical tools for ministry, but it's such a spiritual renewal as well, just being surrounded by so many like-minded folks. So that's conference. Another event that's being offered this year, this is our national online equipping event, Connect, Engaging You. And so there's 2 days, and each day it's being offered twice. So it's we're here on the East Coast. So for us, the 2 showings are at 9 a.m. and at noon. So it's a 2.5 hour event. So it's going to go from like 9 to 11:30, and then from noon to 2:30. So it's being offered. It's the same event being offered twice on each of these 2 days. So 4 times total. And each of the speakers are going to have 15 to 20 minutes, just little short equipping times. So check out the registration pages there. What's really great about this event is just $10. $10 to get a login code to participate in the event. And then with that $10 code, you can view it by yourself, or you can view it with a group. You could put it up on the sanctuary screen and watch it with, a couple hundred people if you wanted to. So just $10 and it can go a long way. So yeah, check out this online event on August 26th and October the 14th. We also have our Child Discipleship Forum. So this is our 3rd annual Child Discipleship Forum, 2-day event live in Nashville, or you could participate online. And with the online participation, you can also get a 30-day replay link. So I know this is a Thursday, Friday, which may not be able to be something that you could devote the time to live, although it's really great when you can. You will have access to all the content for 30 days, so you can still listen to all of the great speakers. This Child Discipleship Forum is an event all around cultural analysis, Barna research, and how it all impacts our local church practice. How do we most effectively engage the kids that are in our ministries week in and week out? So the Child Discipleship Forum is just fully devoted to child discipleship for 2 days. Really fantastic opportunity to be encouraged. So hope you can participate. ChildDiscipleshipForum.com. You get your tickets and pricing information. If you're here in North Carolina, I do have a couple churches that are opening up their doors, that they are inviting other leaders to come participate with them. So you can check out Piedmont Baptist Church in Kannapolis or Triad Christian Fellowship in Winston-Salem, and communicate with either Lindsay or Graham and see if you can participate in there with those groups. Just really awesome opportunity to be encouraged on child discipleship. So hope one of these ways is a way that you can be able to participate in this year's Child Discipleship Forum. I mentioned before, belong, believe, become, these 3 B's of child discipleship. So belong, want to have relational ministry that loves these kids, helps these kids know that we love them just for being who they are. Believe, scriptural ministry that's deeply rooted in the truth of God's word. And then become is this experiential ministry. So this is ministry that helps these kids see that the Christian faith is something that they're living out all throughout their lives. It's not just something that they put on when they're at church and they take off, but this is something that is an experience that they live out 24/7. So those are the 3 B's of discipleship: belong, believe, become. And with Awana, we have a training specifically about these 3 B's and how to intentionally weave belong, believe, and become into your Sundays, your Wednesdays, your Fridays, whatever day it is you have ministry. We can be intentional at weaving in belong, believe, and become. And so this is the 2nd year of our Resilient Child Discipleship training. And so you can see the sites and locations here of all of the available opportunities. I don't know where you're watching this from. The idea of going to Chicago in February may not be my first choice on this list, but I hope that you have a date and location here that's somewhat reasonable for you. And I know I here in North Carolina, I traveled to Atlanta last year. Well worth the trip. It is. You get the fellowship that happens there, the speaking, the messages. It was all super, super good. So even if you have to travel a little bit to get one of these sites, definitely worth your time. Just $59 per person for the day, for the whole day event. So hope you'll check that out, and we'll see where the dates and locations fall for 2024 and 25 as well. That'd be great to, I know here in the Carolinas, I'd selfishly love to see something a little closer to us too. So we'll see what happens there. If you're getting your team, you got some new volunteers this year, wanting to get folks their training, encourage you to check out awanabasics.awana.org. That is our Awana Basics online trainings. And so there's 9 different training tracks for basically every ministry role. So there's something there for everybody. Encourage you to check those out. It is something where you have to be connected into the Awana website. So you have to create a username and password and be connected to your church account. So there is a video on that website. Again, awanabasics.awana.org. If you need help figuring out how to do that, but highly encourage you to get your folks through that training. Pro tip, set a deadline. If you really want to get everyone to go through this, set a deadline for when it needs to be done by, and then offer a little thank you, a little gift, a little something for folks who complete it. If they send you a screenshot with like all the boxes marked complete, maybe you can send them a little gift card or a candy bar or something to let them know that you appreciate that, because we do want our team to be the best that they could be and be well trained. Couple more things before we wrap up. Awana Clubs material. So I want to encourage you on a couple other things that Awana produces. One is called Bright, Brite. And so you can go to brightcurriculum.com and check out a free month of Bright. And then I have my promo code Roach down here to get 50% off your Bright subscription if you order before January 1st. So this is good through the end of December. If you want to use your Awana missionary's last name, any of the Awana missionary last names will work for this to get 50% off. So, so check out Bright. It's definitely something that's really useful, and it's great for that weekend space for your Sunday school and or children's church. And there's lots of media components. It's fully download. You can run it completely digitally or print it out, whichever way you choose to do it. So really love Bright and just how it's continually evolving and has so many awesome components to it. So check it out for free, brightcurriculum.com. And then we have Talk About is the third of our discipleship pillars. So we have clubs, we have Bright, and we have Talk About. And Talk About is for at-home discipleship. So this is a weekly email that you get to have these just little biblical discipleship conversations throughout the week. If you're like our family, things just get really busy really easily. And so it's good to have these just little nuggets of time where you can do some discipleship if it's around the breakfast table or in the car. So check out Talk About. It's free for the first month with the promo code DROACH. And again, it's just the first initial of your first name and first initial of the first name and then the last name of any Awana missionary. So that's applicable nationwide there as well. And then if you go beyond that first free month, it's still only $5.99 a month, $5.99 to continue to get weekly emails with discipleship ideas right to your inbox. So check out Talk About. And then wrapping it up, there's a really neat thing if you've been tracking it all with Awana and Africa and this public school initiative. What's really awesome about this is that it was just two leaders doing Awana in their local church and deciding that what would it look like if we did this to the kids that are at school. And so they started the first after school Awana club in the country of Zimbabwe. And it has just been so fruitful. They've noticed the difference in the kids, the grades are improved, the discipline of that school is improved. And now all of Zimbabwe is wide open as far as having after school Awana clubs. And it's even into 6 other African countries as well, like Rwanda, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Eswatini, Kenya. So just really, really exciting to see how God is moving in this. So I want to encourage you to be praying for this initiative. We don't know how long this door is going to be open, but please pray for the gospel to be proclaimed and to spread throughout the children in these African countries. And then if you're in a position to do some sort of a mission project, either through your Awana Club or maybe your general missions fund, every $650 that goes to this Africa Schools project will help start up an Awana Club in an after school Awana Club somewhere in Africa. So it's a really, really fantastic opportunity when you think about each of these schools reaching at least 500 kids and some over 1,000, maybe 1,500. So what a great return on investment. And it's just a really tangible way that we can be helping move the ministry forward. So pray, give if you can. If you want some more resources, some tools that you can use to share this Africa Schools project in your church, you can go to this QR code to download the missions kit. There's videos, there's graphics, there's even lessons that tie in. So if you wanted to make this a weekly theme for like a month, or if you did you could do this like a summer school or like a vacation Bible school. You could have 5 days of this Africa Schools project to do it really anytime throughout your year. So you have some lessons available to you. So thanks for just sharing this and getting the word out and making an eternal difference. I mean, Awana is reaching 5 million kids around the world. We're thrilled about that. But man, with this missions opportunity, the way God's opened up this door, we could be reaching another 5, 10, 15 million very, very soon. If the finances come in and if we can get the team trained there in Africa. So thank you for praying for that. Well, that's been my Awana Connect. So thanks for participating in this video, getting through this far. So I'm praying for you and your ministry. Thank you so much for all you do to engage with kids. And I hope that you have a very blessed ministry year in Awana. God bless.